Welcome to Plot Hole. Wait for it. Assholes. And we're going to be your assholes for this evening because we're going to be discussing a plot hole that does not need to be discussed. Something that nobody questions, but we do. Yeah. And we're going to discuss it to insane lengths is basically what's going to happen.
I feel like this week, though, people talking about it quite a good deal.
Do you think this is one of those things people talk about?
I do, actually, because I've had this conversation before.
Well, here's what we're going to talk about.
This is something that needs answering.
Pokemon. Love Pokemon. We all like Pokemon here,
yeah,
right?
You've got to catch them all.
And the question is, these Pokemon, these beautiful little creatures, they go back into your Pokeball, this prison.
Yeah.
But what happens to Pokemon when they go into the Pokeball?
Right.
What music is this?
This is orchestrated music from Pokemon. Somebody orchestrated all the Pokemon music.
That is the coolest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Check it out.
I will.
Oh, I like this.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Oh,
so let's get to the question here. What, Dean, let's start with you. What's your first instinct here? What happens when he captures Pikachu and it goes inside that Pokeball?
Well, that's a trick question because Pikachu does not go in his Pokeball.
That's true.
Yeah.
Very good answer.
Don't you trust the Pokemon Master?
Don't you question.
So the first thing you see is they kind of turn into like a hologram. You know, like when you see when the ball goes out, they turn like they kind of freeze.
Yeah, they become like red and like lasery.
They kind of like freeze and then they get like in like that. So I don't know. Are they just made of energy, maybe?
Right.
And they kind of like dissolve in the energy form and go into the Pokeball. But the first thing my brain goes to is like, there's a tiny home in there. They miniaturize and they live.
Like Aladdin and Genie?
Exactly.
So, like, things are happening in there. Like, is it real time? Like,
I think they have, like, a room like this one that we're in currently, right? Just miniaturized. They don't know what time of day.
So there's no, like, time dilation going on? This isn't Interstellar?
No.
Like, where, like, a day here is only a minute in the Pokeball or something?
Not in my opinion. I think it's just a little tiny house, and they have their stuff, and they go in and they just, like, kick it. Until it's like, oh, it's time, must be time to fight. I hear some commotion going on.
Is it like a whole another world though? Like, say for instance, Pikachu has his best buddy. Sorry, not Pikachu. Let's go with somebody else. Let's go with Squirtle, and he's got his best buddy Blastoise. Who's in another Pokeball.
Right.
But can they go over each other's houses?
No. Can't have two Pokemon.
They're stuck in their world.
You can't have it's like coated almost. I would think. You can't have two Pokemon in one ball. Yeah, well, the life of a Pokemon, you're pretty much a slave. So.
Well, here's my problem. Do they shit while they're in the Pokeball?
Yeah, no doubt. They have a tiny bathroom.
So when they throw back out the Pokeball, why doesn't a whole bunch of shit just become real life size again and just spread everywhere?
Because the house isn't made of energy. It's just made of tiny parts. They're made of the energy.
Mike, what do you think? What was your first instinct here?
So when I was a kid, I actually tried thinking about this because I wanted to know.
Yeah.
And I was watching the cartoon, and the first thing that you see the first time when, like, if you examine a Pokeball when it actually, opens up, don't look at them, look at what's inside. The Pokeball just has a ton of mirrors. And I honestly, at that point on, I thought that the entirety of the inside of a Pokeball was a rave. And it was just like lights bouncing off of everything because they go in the red, it's a red laser. And that's what I thought as a kid. Now, as I grow up, and there's been other talk, and I've talked about it with people. Here's what I think, and I think this is actually more scientific than it needs to be.
Oh God.
Then it's good for this.
Dean, right? Dean kind of had it with they get transformed into energy. They're not energy themselves, but it takes their energy. It takes like a stasis, and it's very futuristic type technology.
Yeah.
And it actually converts them into energy, so they're just a matter of energy inside the ball. It actually condenses the particles into energy that just bounces around. So to them, the energy is actually comforting because they're actually compressed, and it comforts them almost like being swaddled like a baby.
Almost like when they get beamed up in Star Trek, but you're just constantly
constantly in that stasis in between.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. So no, they don't shit. They don't need to eat. That's why they don't. They can go days, and they're fine. That's why, like, if they're burned or anything like that, they can.
Here's the question: can anything be captured inside a Pokeball, or is it just Pokemon? Like, is the Pokemon just naturally born to form into this energy, or did Dr. Oak and all these people create Pokeballs with this interesting technology to turn Pokemon into energy and anything they want into energy? Like, could I throw a Pokeball at you right now, turn you into energy, and have you live in this little Pokemon world in your own little house inside there?
No, because sometimes some things in the show they do that. They throw Pokeballs and stuff
it just bounces,
that can't be taught.
Right, it hits them in the head.
Oh, even See, that's the thing. Even Pikachu. in the very first episode, doesn't he throw it at him and it just like bounces off of him?
No, he hits it back. Right.
He
Well, that's why you
hits it
can't
back.
capture any animal. Like that's why he had to
They have
battle
to be
them.
weakened.
Right, they have to be weakened, so they're not going to fight it.
So that means Pokemon don't want to be inside these balls.
No, they
No,
don't.
and actually, Pokemon is that.
So I have a problem with your theory then. There, like they don't have a nice little home in there.
No,
they don't
once
want to
they
be
get
inside there.
they don't. No, they don't realize it. It's like
Not
capturing a
at
stray
first.
animal. A stray animal doesn't want you, but then all of a sudden it's like
because you can't build a home around something you don't know is going to live in there yet.
right.
You know what I mean? So
Right.
you got to get acclimated, and then it's like, oh, this is what lives in here.
It's like a stray animal.
Does
Once
it
they
build
it's
the
comfort.
home once it gets in there, or is there a home waiting for him?
I told you my theory. So
No,
it
I
has
think it's
nothing to
built
do with
for
the
them.
home.
Well, your theory is boring. It's science.
Right. Well, I'm sorry, that's more
I'm kidding, I'm
correct.
kidding.
I think the home is built for them once they're in.
So, just to go off real quick, someone posted that, and I think it's just really entertaining to me. I'm like, I don't think that the person that made that understands.
It just
how that
so people
works.
understand what's going on here. It's a T-shirt with Ash Ketchum kneeling before Jesus, and it says, "Jesus, I choose you."
But I'm like, does that? So someone posted it on Facebook saying it was a joke, but like, does that mean that Ash caught Jesus in a Pokeball and
No.
Jesus lives in the Pokeball?
That's the question.
I think you're
What
thinking about
can be
it
captured?
too. I think you're going too deep on the
If
thought.
I
Like,
weaken
can you
Dean
battle
enough,
Jesus against Shiva?
if I
Someone else
weaken
has
Dean
Shiva?
enough, can I capture the beast?
No, I don't think so.
No, I think it's a combination of the Pokeballs are designed to sense the energy that a Pokemon is made out of. Also, tiny homes inside. Both.
I think we all can agree with that. That's just
There's tiny homes, right? I really
disagree.
think there's tiny homes. Now think about it, dude. Because when they first get caught,
Team
they
Vader,
don't want to be caught.
I'll tell you right now, bud, if you keep spamming that, I'm gonna be really pissed off.
Pokemon's awesome. Anyway, you're in the minority.
You are way too
Finish
young
your thought, Dean.
to
I want
be
to hear what
able
you're
to
going
say
to say
that.
there.
So, yes. So the first inclination is like, yeah, nobody wants to be caught,
Yeah, right?
right?
They're in a cage.
But once they get trained and once they get to know the owner, they usually come back like pretty willingly because they're like, yeah, I'm trying to go finish the movie in there. Let me come back. Because like Squirrel and everything is like pretty willing after like they've been around for a while, and like he calls him back. He's like, okay, Squirrel, come back. He's like, yeah, I will.
And Charizard is always
I
like,
mean,
fuck you.
They
Yeah.
probably try to put a nice
Charizard's
spin on
a
it,
dick.
but when you think about Pokemon, it's a really cruel, messed up thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
they're,
it's 100%.
They're weakening these peaceful creatures, capturing them in a cage,
Fun.
even if they do eventually have their home in there, and then they throw them out to battle cockfighting style.
Right, it's actually deeper than that. It is a mother, its parents saying, hey, let me send my young teenage kid in the world on their own so they can capture animals and make them fight against each other for fame.
Yeah.
That's essentially what the whole show is
It's
about. And
no
the whole
doubt it's
premise.
terrible and awful thing to do, but not once they
I
get
feel
their
like it's
tiny
like-
homes in there.
I feel like Pokemon takes place on Earth
Okay.
like a millennia and a half from now.
I think it's an alternate universe.
But I think it's after like post-apocalyptic stuff happens and we start to rebuild society, but all the mutations have created Pokemon, and society has actually been able to, like, that's why we have certain technologies we don't have now.
Society.
Society.
Do you get what that's from, Mike?
Yeah, so-
Okay, good.
Alright. God. Just because I didn't know one thing.
We are all now dumber for having listened to that.
Okay, so I think we kind of have most of a consensus here, though, right? We kind of
Yeah.
figured out some stuff.
I think so. Also, with all the chat going on about Pokemon in general, where do you guys come down on Pokemon?
Like, if we like it?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
It's awesome.
Pokemon's like
Love
the best thing
Pokemon,
ever.
right?
Always
I
been
love
awesome.
Pokemon.
Always will be awesome.
Yeah,
Pokemon,
I agree.
I literally actually have been going through a Pokemon. Remember last year or 2 years ago when I went through the Pokemon, you know, like I was fiending for it and I bought the 2DS just
Right.
to play Pokemon and I returned it. I'm really
And we
thinking
all
about
can agree
again.
that we're waiting for that full 3D,
Oh, yeah.
3D
Oh my God.
next-gen console Pokemon role-playing game.
What if they let you inside a Pokeball?
And find out what's in there? Like, we finally know the answers?
Like,
That
what
kind
if
of
you
ruins
could
the
be a
segment.
Pokemon?
You, nope. I totally just lost my thought and forget what I was
I feel
gonna
like
say.
that just destroys the mystery. I
Of
want the
what's
mystery
inside?
to remain. I don't want to know what goes on inside there.
Neither do I, man. For multiple reasons.
I hope, in my opinion, I hope that it's another world. Like, even though it's Pokeball, they're all interconnected Pokeball, and, you know, Squirrel could be like,
oh
hey,
my
Blastoise,
god!
come on over, buddy.
What if the Pokeball is like a portal,
Right?
right? Like
That's what I'm talking about
there's
here.
a Pokemon world.
Exactly.
They get called through. They go through the portal. back to their world,
Yep.
and then they come back through the portal when they're needed.
100%.
Damn, that.
And they're all
might
buddies
be
in
what
there.
happens.
They have their own world dedicated to them.
I think that theory is my
Team
favorite.
Hater needs to shut up.
Oh,
Team Hater.
shit.
You're on my shit list.
You're on your shit list. That is it, guys. That's the end of Plot Hole Assholes. Thank you for watching. YouTube Archive.